Yeah, y'all gonna stop coming in my live talking about this Victor dude, bro. We hooping this year. Y'all gonna see.
Hi team, today we have a little bit of draft insight or a mock draft posted by ESPN, and I'm sorry, I have the ringer pulled up right now, but as you can see, here is the ESPN article and it talks about the Spurs at number 8. This would be if they didn't move up in their draft lottery, and this will come out tomorrow. I think I am gonna live stream that, so leave it down below in the comment section if y'all want me to live stream my reaction. I might be here chilling and watching the lottery, so I might as well go live, but let me know what y'all guys think. But right here we can see number 8 most likely pick if they stay at number 8, and this is Spurs. I don't really know how to say his last name, but he's a point guard, shooting guard, and they talk a little bit about him here. They say he should be looked at by the Spurs because he has good perimeter shooting, is unselfish, and able to play both guard spots, so he is a combo guard, kind of similar to Stephon Castle, and he does have some similarities to Igor Demin, which we have made a video about him previously, but I think Spurs is a better shooter. His percentages are definitely better, and that is something that y'all guys like. I know y'all say we need shooting, and I also agree with that. So ESPN right here has the Spurs taking Spurs. I don't know if they have insight to what the Spurs are attracted to, but looking at Spurs as a player, he is a good playmaker. He has good feel for the game and is a floor general. Now, I don't know if the Spurs are gonna go for someone like this, like another guard. I wouldn't be upset at it, but I think that the Spurs should definitely go for like more of a wing in this number 8 pick, or whichever pick comes first. But then again, we also have to consider if Chris Paul is coming back, because that plays a factor in who will be leading the backup unit. So Spurs fits that European stereotype for guards. I haven't watched much of him. I don't know what he is like on the defensive end. One thing that is favorable for him is he has credible size for his position, which I think that kind of makes up for the fact that he isn't very fast, as most European players aren't. Here they say he's a fantastic passer. He's a step or so behind Igor Demin in terms of pure creativity, which that's really why I like Igor. He is a 6'9" point guard, but you can really put him 1 through 3 in the Spurs positionless basketball. The only downside with Igor is his jump shot, and they have to bet on whether they think he can become a good shooter or not. That's where Spurs kind of edges him out, because he is a better shooter off the rip, and so I think he would be better offensively as soon as he is drafted. He does have an ugly turnover percentage, but that's not something to be crazy upset about. We can easily clean that up. He had a nagging forearm injury, but before his injury, he was hitting 41.4% of his threes. A blend of step backs in isolation and dribble pull-ups in the pick and roll and catch and shoot looks. Post-injury, his self-created threes dried up almost entirely, which I suspect was a result of that injury to his non-shooting forearm. Beyond that, the craft in his middle game could definitely stand to progress and evolve, but he's great when he gets to the rim, and that's something that the Spurs need a little bit more of. I know we have Steph Castle, De'Aaron Fox, Blake Wesley could get to the rim at times, but we might need someone to give us a little bit more of that, and it would be really beneficial if Spurs could also play a little bit of the 3. Like I said, I don't really know because I haven't watched much of him, and then his player comps down here are mostly guards, so I think he will be more of a 1 and 2, but he relishes contact, and this is going to allow him to get to the line a lot, kind of like Stephon Castle. That's something I really like. From all that I've read, he doesn't seem like he has good defensive skills, and that's something that could be covered up by Steph Castle, Sohan, and Wembanyama. I will say, even looking at the player comps, this isn't a player that like jumps out to me straight away like, oh, this is an amazing fit. I think even someone like Trey Johnson I would like a little bit more, and I think that's just because he has more of a dynamic offensive side. And if you're going for a player who doesn't have great defense anyways, you might as well try to take the better scorer. The only thing with Trey Johnson is I think he's a little bit too similar to Devin Vassell. If you go and watch his highlights, he takes a lot of shots like Devin Vassell, and I don't know if that's something that the Spurs would be turned off by, or if it'd be something that they like because they have already seen a player like Vassell and they could build him up and have like a development program that they know will work for him. But Trey Johnson is just more of like a pure bucket compared to a Spurs, where he's more of like a floor general and kind of more like a point guard. I guess Trey Johnson is a shooting guard. They're both 6'6", and so I guess it just depends what the Spurs are looking for. Me personally, right now, I feel like I would go for some more offense, a more scoring punch. I also believe Trey Johnson is a better shooter. He's probably one of the best scorers, like pure bucket getters in this draft class. But I mean, I really wouldn't be mad at these. Like, these wouldn't be bad picks. I just don't know if this Casparis is something that I'm in love with right now. And let me know what y'all guys think, because I know y'all all have different perspectives and stuff. But like they said, 41% from the 3-point range before his injury is impressive. And so that is something that I will be looking forward to. And if the Spurs draft him, that's something I want to see him build off of. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. And I was looking at the depth chart a little bit. We don't know if Chris Paul is coming back. We know De'Aaron Fox is going to be the starting point guard. Steph Castle will probably be like the starting 3. And then you have Devin Vassell, who will be the starting shooting guard or 3. Whichever one Steph Castle plays, Devin Vassell will play the other one. And then you probably have Sohan starting, Wembanyama. And so we need a backup center desperately. That's something that the Spurs will address, whether it's in the draft or free agency. But then the point guard position looks a little thin. You don't really have a true backup point guard. And so that's why I could see you go a player like Casparis. You also don't really have a backup shooting guard. I mean, you have Blake Wesley who could play either one of these. But other than him, there's nobody that you really trust unless Chris Paul comes back for another season. But then he would just be like a placeholder. He's only coming back for 1 year max. Steph Castle would probably be the starting small forward. And then you have Champagnie Keldon. So I think there is a little bit of depth, which they can switch over to power forward. You have Harrison Barnes. And so although we don't have that building block of a small forward, I don't know if Steph Castle will be that. He more than likely, I think he will. Unless you just get someone who fits that mold even better. And then you can move Castle to like a shooting guard, because he can play combo guard. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think Castle would play the shooting guard just because of his great passing and high playmaking skills. And then you could scoot Devin Vassell over to the 3, because although he can playmake, he isn't really as good of a playmaker as Castle. So Vassell is the starting 3 going into the season. And then you try to find a starting small forward who will build with the group, because I think we will need to fill that position, and Castle and Fox will be the long-term backcourt. But like I said, you can really get backups for every position. Like we can use more depth everywhere. Center is probably first priority, but other than that, you can get any position that the Spurs really want. And so that's why I say none of these players are out of the picture. So let me know what y'all think. Casparis wouldn't be a bad pick at all. Wouldn't be angry at it, but let me know what y'all guys think. And then here they have another Illinois player, Will Riley, and this is a shooter pick. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not familiar with his game at all, but we pulled it up right here. Pull up threat, off ball movement, feel for the game. Great jump shot. He has player comps of Jet Howard, Kevin Martin, Quincy Miller, and Nikola Jovic. But my favorite pick for the Hawks pick, the 14th overall pick, would have to be Carter Bryant. I don't know if they have him on here, but he's also a 6'8 shooter, 3-and-D. He has a lot of upside, and I think the Spurs can tap into his untapped potential. This guy, I'm not really familiar of him. I'm not going to do a deep dive, but they also name people like Kneppel, Riley, and Carter Bryant. So these are all shooters that would be in the 14th pick range. And as long as we take a shooter with that 14th overall pick, or maybe a backup center, I would be cool with that. Y'all let me know what y'all guys think. Let me know if y'all want to see me live stream the lottery tomorrow. And with that being said, y'all be sure to leave a like, subscribe to Spurs Spotlight. Until next time, it has been your boy Chris, and I will catch y'all later. I'm out.